So in today's video, we're going to talk about 5 current things that I think if you are planning to move to Virginia Beach, or you plan to live here, these are things I think you'll be surprised to find out might change your perspective on living in Virginia Beach. Make sure you wait to listen to the last one because this is one that I haven't talked to people much about and I wish I had more frequently because even I am now starting to do this now in Virginia Beach. That saved me a ton of time, and especially when you relocate here for the first time and get acclimated to the area. And we're starting right now. Hey, my name is Sam Santalone, and I'm a real estate agent in the Hampton Roads area. That includes Virginia Beach, and it goes through Williamsburg, and I do videos every week about living and moving to the area. So these things cover kind of a broad range of topics, but they definitely impact the quality of life and what the vibes are in Virginia Beach and what you might expect when you get here. So number one is going to be the redundancy of Virginia Beach. So you've looked up into Virginia Beach and know that there's the coastline, there's the beaches, there's all kinds of beaches, and there's that whole like surfer, that whole beach atmosphere at the beach. Well, once you come off of the beach, like a quarter mile, half a mile maybe, you will find that the entire rest of the city is totally different. It is suburbs to the gills. Everywhere you'll find strip malls, big box stores, chain restaurants, mom and pop stores, which is good, but a lot of this over and over again, strip mall, mall, strip mall. And so what you'll find is that there are differences in different parts of town, but there's subtle differences. So, you know, there are some parts of the city that were built in the 60s and 70s and the 80s. There are some other parts that were built in the 90s and 2000s. So you'll find that there are differences. This area feels newer than this area. Well, that's true, but you'll also find that it's like they're just different designs of the same thing. Strip malls here, strip malls there, strip malls everywhere. So you'll find that redundancy is kind of frustrating if you aren't here for the reasons like here for schools, here for safety, here for quality of life, just a comfortable life situation. If you're not here for those things, you might get bored out of your mind just going from place to place across town. And one cool fact that kind of helps prove this point is, I don't think people realize this, is that there are so many 7-Elevens here. It's crazy. So if you've never heard of a 7-Eleven, 7-Elevens are convenience stores and they've got gas stations often. And they also have stuff inside like water, candy, your coffee. They have these summertime drinks called Slurpees that are ice flavored drinks. So no one really says that they love 7-Eleven. It's just a staple of the area. To the point that here's some comparison as to how many 7-Elevens there are here. There are 29 Starbucks in Virginia Beach. A lot. There are 81 7-Eleven locations in Virginia Beach right now. Okay? 81. Number two is that while we're below the Mason-Dixon line, which is, right at Maryland, you wouldn't really think that we're in the South either. So, we're not in the North. We don't have a lot of the northern vibes that you get in like the Northeast. You won't have the Southern vibes you'd necessarily get in the very deep South. We're kind of there in the middle. We're kind of neutral. And so in addition to that, because there are so many military bases in this area, you'll also find that because people have been coming from different parts of the country, all across the country, it's like a melting pot of the cultures in the country, where you've just got people from Minnesota, from Montana, from California, all over the place that just got relocated here and have stayed here and retired or here active duty. And it kind of makes this real random mesh of different types of people. The next one is livability when it comes to walking. So this area being spread out, being, lots of strip malls like I've talked about, it can be very convenient to get to these different places by car. But walking from your house or somewhere close by to another part of town can be very difficult. It can be done in a lot of cases because there are sidewalks along a lot of the major roads, a lot of them, not all of them, but it doesn't make it very easy. And so the city is not designed for a lot of foot traffic. So on the flip side, if you live in a neighborhood, it's set away from one of those major roads, you often will find that there aren't many sidewalks in Virginia Beach relative to how many houses that there are. But a lot of people here walk through the streets. And so that's a very normal thing, partly because the streets are often very quiet. And so you'll find a lot of houses with neighborhoods built in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, you'll find a lot of neighborhoods that don't have sidewalks, but they are far enough away to where people, will walk their dogs, go for bike rides. Very normally, like I grew up in a neighborhood that didn't have sidewalks. The neighborhood I live in right now doesn't have sidewalks, but there are people walking their dogs every day, like pretty frequently, in my neighborhood and a lot of other neighborhoods. It's just very common. And I would never think to not walk or run in neighborhood streets, even though there isn't a sidewalk. That's just not something I think about. And it's very normal to not have sidewalks in Virginia Beach. So the next one is the concept of a frog. And what is a frog, Sam? Not the animal frog, which you've heard of before, but a frog that is what's called a finished room over the garage. And so I've preached this in many other past videos because I think this is a very important thing, especially if you're moving here from a different city or different state. Frogs are very common here. Part of it's just because of the design of the houses here. So you'll find a lot of ranch style houses or even 2-story houses or 3-story sometimes that have these frogs. And what is the frog? Okay, so when you're looking at a house, you'll see a garage, and that garage often above it will have a room. It's often characterized by having like a semicircle window, like a half window, and also kind of a pitched A-frame side above the garage. And that can be an indicator that sometimes you'll see that these frogs exist over those garages. And what's in them? Well, in traditional bedrooms, you'll find that a lot of them are, 8-foot ceilings, 9-foot ceilings. These often are constructed to the dimensions of the roof line. So the ceilings often are different shapes. Sometimes you may not be able to walk all the way through the room with standing up straight. It just depends because some are massive frogs. Some are not very big. And so you just kind of find that there's kind of like bonus rooms. And so the reason this matters is because they often are considered bedrooms here. And when people come here and expecting to find, for example, they see a house listed, it's a 4-bedroom house or a 5-bedroom house, there are a lot of times that one of those bedrooms is a frog. And so when you go into the house thinking, I'm going to see 4 or 5 traditional, rectangle or square sized bedrooms, you get in there and realize, oh, one of them is the frog. And then these frogs often either don't have closets at all, or they have closets, but they're strange shapes. They're not full like walk-in closets. Sometimes they're big closets. It's just all over the map. So you don't really know what you're going to get until you get in to see a lot of these houses and these frogs. So people often disappointed when they see that there's a frog that is counted as a bedroom because it's not what they would consider a bedroom. So number 5 is what is called DMV Select. So if you've never heard of a DMV Select, this is like an express DMV. So DMVs here are, again, awful, just like most other places. They take forever. It's awful to deal with the DMV. It can take you 3, 4, 5 hours. So DMV Selects are designed specifically to help people that have very specific, quicker things that don't take up a lot of time or aren't super involved. You can go to these DMV Selects to get those types of quicker things done. It helps them because it speeds up their waiting process and their waiting times at DMV, and it also helps you because you don't have to like wait for 3 hours for a 15-minute or 5-minute thing. So they don't serve all the things that you would need a DMV for. But check online. You can check at DMV Select and see what types of things that they allow and they serve. And I think it'll save you a lot of time to go to the DMV Select as opposed to a regular DMV, because of all the things you're doing when you're relocating into Virginia Beach. The last thing you want to add to that is several hours at the daggone DMV. So DMV Selects will probably save your life or save a lot of hours of your life when you get here. So if you have any more questions about relocating to Virginia Beach or what it's like to live in Virginia Beach, let me know. I hope people relocate to this area all the time. It's what I do and I love it. So drop a comment. You can email me, you can call me, you can text me, and I'll do whatever I can to help you relocate to the area. And I will see you on the next video.